Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a fun video coming your way. We're just gonna be playing with some old makeup, some new makeup, some drugstore, some high-end. I did just get my Sydney Grace order in last night, which I am very excited to play with. I have all the individuals here on my desk that we'll be swatching and of course creating an eye look with. And then I've got some old favorites and some things that I completely forgot that I even had. So I hope that you guys are excited about it. Thank you for joining me today. A special welcome to those of you that are new to my channel. I hope that you'll consider subscribing and hit that notification bell if you would like to be notified when I upload a new video. And with that said, let's jump right into it. So we're gonna jump right into foundation. I'm going to take my Wet n Wild Dewy foundation. I haven't used this for probably about a month now, and I do really love this foundation a lot. Today I'm using the shade Soft Beige. I'm just gonna take that right onto my sponge and just start tapping it in. So we are about 4 days away from the end of July, and July has been a crazy, crazy month for me. I have kind of been a little absent on, I mean, I've been posting videos, but I've really been in kind of like a survival mode this last month. It's been super busy with my son's baseball team. They did basically a summer state tournament for their baseball team once the lockdown kind of opened up, which was so much fun, and I was so happy to be a part of and just engaged in that. And so I really kind of took a bit of a break from social media. I have been very absent in my comment section, which I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, and I'm really excited to kind of get back into it in the month of August and get things kind of back to normal. I have not been posting on Instagram really at all. Not that I'm a very regular poster to begin with, but it has been completely silent over there. So if you guys have left me comments or messages over there, I am so sorry that I have been completely disengaged. But I feel like I kind of needed it. It was a good little break, good little disconnect. And I definitely started to feel it at the end of the month. My videos felt very, I don't know what the word is. I just felt very off. Like I felt like I was posting videos just to keep my channel from dying. And I know a couple of those videos did not do very well as far as like the algorithm goes. But I do have a very exciting announcement at the end of today's video for you guys that I am super, super excited about. And I think that you guys will be excited about it as well, especially if you've been with me for a while. Oh, I forget how much I love that foundation. I think it's so, so pretty. For concealer today, I'm going to use my Flower Beauty concealer. I really like this concealer as well. I can only use it in the summertime because the shade that I have, which I think is 3-4, light 3-4, matches me perfect in the summer, but in the wintertime it's just a little bit too dark for me. So gotta use it while I still have that little bit of tan going on. And I do have a pretty good amount. I know I don't look that tan right here, but for me, I do have quite a bit of color in my face. It's really surprised me. Some of the foundations that are so dark for me in the winter time match me really well right now, or even a little bit too light for me, and I don't feel like I look that tan. So it's one of those mysteries, you know. Just makes you realize how fair, if you are fair-skinned, how fair you really can get in the middle of winter. So I am going to use a little bit of powder today, but before I go into that, I do want to put my eyeshadow primer on right now. I'm going to take a little bit of this Alter Ego primer and just tap this into my lids. Speaking of Alter Ego, you guys may or may not have heard the announcement that they coming out with a new palette on Thursday, which I am so excited about. I said the day that I mentioned I was interested in the brand Alter Ego that I was longing for them to do a Natasha Denona Metropolis dupe. By the way, this is the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. I'm just putting a little bit of this on my inner lid. So they have announced it. They have officially duped the Metropolis palette, and I am so, so excited about it. It comes out, I think, on Thursday. You can purchase it on Thursday. I saw Jen Phelps do her review just last night, and man, guys, it looks so pretty. It is the palette of my army green khaki loving dreams. So I definitely plan to pick that one up. I would love to know how many of you guys are interested in that one. Let's move into bronzer. So I want to start off with a little bit of cream bronzer. We're going to take my Milk Makeup bronzer stick, and I'm just going to put this on the back of my Moda Mythical brush. This is my favorite brush to use with this bronzer. It reminds me a lot of like the e.l.f. complexion brush, or I think I have a brush from Luxie that's similar to this, but it's a little bit smaller, which I kind of like. That way I can be really precise with how I place it initially and then kind of slowly move it upwards and out from there. That's one thing with like cream and liquid products that I think I sometimes have trouble with. If I use too large of a brush, they can sometimes get a little bit too widespread. And it's such a fine balance because you definitely want it to be somewhat widespread because you don't want to stripe down your face, but if you go too overboard, it starts to look unnatural. So kind of walking that fine line. So I'd love to know how you guys are doing. I would especially love to know how many of you guys that have children or grandchildren that are school aged. What are your plans for the fall? Do you guys know yet if you're going back to school? Are you doing homeschooling? Such a crazy time right now. We officially got the announcement last week that we are going to be going back. We are going to be going back to school. It's kind of part-time. They're doing a 4-day week. They're gonna have other things in place as far as like mask wearing and trying to socially distance, which will be interesting to see how that goes and how that works. I think with high school age kids, so I have a child in grade school, a child in middle school, or it's actually junior high here, and a child in high school. And my guess is the high school kids will probably be okay with wearing a mask and maintaining distance and abiding by some of the rules and precautions that the school board has in place. But I question how effective that's going to be for the junior high and the elementary school kids. With junior high, even though those kids are a little bit older, junior high kids are punks, man. Not my kid, but all the other kids out there. I'm kidding. So my son will be in 8th grade this year, and it's 7th and 8th grade is junior high where we are. And I went with him to school the first week of school last year, and I remember walking through the halls with him that first morning of school, and it was an absolute madhouse. The halls were packed. It was so incredibly noisy. So there was a part of me thinking, how in the world are they going to make this work for those junior high kids? So I don't know. I know there's a lot of parents out there that are really nervous about it. I think regardless of what your thoughts are on this, and I know there are a lot of thoughts along the spectrum of yes, go back to school, and no, absolutely not. I am certainly not going to argue with anyone. I think it's very complicated. It also is a little bit different depending on where you live. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it if you want to share. Of course, please be respectful of everyone's differing opinions on this subject, because I know it's kind of a hot topic right now. And I personally am kind of, I see it both ways. I mean, I understand obviously the concern, I think even more for the teachers and for the students, which I can definitely see as would be a major concern. But I also had 3 kids at home for 3 months, and I saw the negative effects of them having that interruption in their schedule. Even for my kids, which I would imagine are not like the ones that had the worst experience with it, but it was very, very rough. Like there were some things that arose from that whole experience that I was not expecting, and I just think they need that interaction with their peers. But I know it's super complicated, so I am certainly not here to be on any sort of high horse at all. So I'm going to take this bronzer next. This is the NARS. It's called the Laguna bronzer, but it is not the original Laguna bronzer. This is like a limited edition. I can't remember what it was called. I found this at TJ Maxx. I thought it was the original Laguna bronzer. I thought I had majorly scored by finding this for like $9 at my TJ Maxx about a year ago, but somebody made me aware that this is not actually the original. But I do really love this bronzer. I haven't actually tried the NARS Laguna bronzer, which I know is kind of an old favorite of a lot of people. It's been around forever. Like I remember the days when I first started watching YouTube, people would talk about MAC eyeshadows and NARS Laguna. Now I want to go in with my highlighter. We're going to take the Revlon Skin Lights highlighter. Again, this is the shade Daybreak Glimmer. I've been loving this highlighter, you guys. I have been using it almost every single day. It is really intense for my Cupid's bow though, and the tip of my nose. I forget sometimes. It's more of like a dry kind of baked formula, but it's not like chunky. It's interesting. It's a really interesting formula. So let's do my eyebrows next. I'm just gonna throw a little bit of the e.l.f. Wow Brow Eyebrow Gel in. I'm not gonna even fill them in today. We're just gonna kind of do like a really fluffy, natural looking brow. I wanna leave plenty of time to swatch these shadows today, so we're not gonna take the time to fill in my brows. All right, so let's get into the Sydney Gray shadow. So I have them all unpackaged. So I placed my order on July 17th, and it was the day, if you're not familiar with Sydney Gray, they did a Christmas in July sale, and for, I think it lasted about a week, maybe a week and a half, and for each day they had a different special or a different sale or deal. So I ended up ordering 22 individual shades of eyeshadow, which put me over the $105 mark, which is crazy. I can't believe I spent $120 on individual eyeshadows, but I was supposed to get $110 value of individual shadows of their choosing along with my order. Got my order in last night, and there was no gift with purchase inside of the package. It was on my packing slip, so I did contact Sydney Grace late last night, so I haven't heard back from them yet. I am crossing my fingers from what I've heard of their customer service that it will be rectified and I will get my gift, because that is probably what I was most excited about, was seeing what they would pick out for me. But hopefully I'll get them soon, and I'll come back, of course, and share with you guys what I ended up getting. But for today, we're just gonna go through what I picked up. So I ordered 9 mattes and 13 shimmers. We're gonna start off with the mattes and swatch them on this arm, and then the shimmers we'll do on this arm. And we'll kind of go from darkest to lightest. So the darkest shade that I got is this one right here. This is the shade Officer. Oh, look at that shade. It's like a black that has this kind of like a charcoal that has a purple shift to it. Oh man, you guys, this looks so pretty. Oh, I'm so excited. If you guys did not see my Sydney Grace original video where I tried out the Sydney Grace eyeshadows, I will link it for you right here. I tried out her Enduring Love palette and fell completely in love with her eyeshadow formula. So I have been looking forward to this sale since I tried that out back in, I think it was like February. Okay, I forgot to tell you guys what that one was. Come on, Mandy. This one right here is Plummet, right? Yeah, Plummet or Plumet. Is it French? I don't know. This one right below it is Hot Chocolate. So those two are super, super similar. This one has a little bit more kind of pink or purple to it. This one has a little bit more brown. Next we have the shade Puppy, which is just a really nice, it looks like just like a very basic, neutral kind of cool brown. I think my swatches are kind of crooked. Ooh, that's pretty. That's really, really, really pretty. Ooh, love that. The next shade I got is this one right here, which is the shade Faithful, which is just kind of a soft, dusty, rose kind of warm pink. There it is right there. That's Faithful. Oh, that's beautiful. Then this one right here is the shade Peyton's Puppy, which looks kind of like a light, kind of like tan, pinkish brown. I do feel like I could use a few more transition shades. I didn't get really any tan or brown tone transition shades. I kind of wish I would have. This one is quite pink. It is really pretty though. I definitely think it will work with what I got because I did get a lot of lid shades that are kind of more pink or purple toned, but that's a beautiful shade. Next up we have some cool tones. This is the shade Moon Landing. Ooh, that's a nice kind of slate cool gray. Ooh, that's pretty. And then I got a deep green, the shade Bravo. It's not super deep, kind of moderately deep. Oh man, that's pretty. Ooh, I love that. That's perfect. So Sydney Grace, if you happen to see this video before you pick out my eyeshadows, I could use a tan transition shade and a dark brown that doesn't have quite as much purple in it. Just throwing that out there, just in case. So this is a matte white that I got because I'm a big fan of a good matte white eyeshadow. This one is the shade Snow Queen. It's just a very pigmented white shadow. It's not super, super creamy, but let's see how that kind of builds. Okay, it definitely builds up though. If you put 2 layers of that, you can get super opaque white, which is not really the goal when I use a matte white eyeshadow. I don't want my lids to be white. I just like a shadow like this because if I want to lighten something else up or put this underneath a darker shade, it gives you a lot of versatility. So there are the mattes. Very pretty, very neutral. Now let's jump into the shimmers on this side. We're going to start off with, let's start off with the lighter shades at the top. First off, this one right here. This is the shade Elegance, which I think is more of like a satiny shimmer. If I remember right, this one's not meant to have quite as much sheen as some of the other ones, but oh, I love a good champagne. That's beautiful. And then I have the shade Bailey's Bliss right here. This one's a little bit more iridescent. It has kind of like, it's like a light pink that has a white and kind of blue shift to it. I don't know that that's catching. It does have quite a bit more shimmer. I don't know if you can kind of see that kind of blue shift there. Please ignore the underside of my arms. I spray tanned today and did not do a very good job, apparently. Let's move on to this one. This is the shade Blondie, which is just a classic kind of shimmery shell pink. Such a good shade to have. This is like a Steal a Kitten kind of shade. Like this reminds me of, do you guys remember the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells palette? This reminds me of the shade in there, which by the way, is amazing. Let's move over to this gold right here. This is the shade Major. This is kind of the only gold that I got. I wish I would have got more like true browns. I don't know why I didn't. But you can never go wrong with a classic gold. And this is a really light gold, which I really love because I have a lot of golds that lean more in kind of the medium shade range, but I don't really have a lot of brightening golds. And I feel like this has just the right amount of yellow in it. All right, let's move into some of these lighter kind of taupes. This one right here is the shade Immortal. So I did have a list that I kept in my notebook of shades that you guys had recommended to me, and I think this and the shade, what was the other one that you guys, Tiara, I think, and Greatest Gift you guys recommended. Beautiful. Oh, I love that. Let's move over to the Greatest Gift. This one is kind of an iridescent. It has a bit of a duochrome, like a purple with kind of a green shift, it looks like. Looks like it has like a blue shift. Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, it's like a pinky purple with like a blue-green shift. Next, the shade Peace. This is another one that a couple of you guys recommended for me. Oh, I love that. Okay, these three shades are similar, so I don't know that I really needed all three of them. But gosh, if I had to pick, I don't know which one I would pick because I think they're all beautiful. This one is just a little bit deeper, a little bit more of like a cool kind of purple, whereas this one has a little bit more pink and warmth, and this one is just a little more duochromed. Let's move into this shade right here. This is the shade Always Yours. This is a recommendation. This was a recommendation from Sarah Hubler. She mentioned she really loves this shade, and it looked so beautiful on her. It's a very, oh, it's so pretty, like a classic lavender. Look at that. I'm sorry, I'm very distracted by my nasty looking arm. The shade Tiara, again, this is one that was the most recommended to me from you guys. This is a classic taupe, it looks like. Oh, it's a perfect taupe. It's like silver with a little bit of like a purple hue to it. Oh, that's so pretty. This shade right here is the shade Lucky Peach. I wanted just kind of a nice pinky peach that's more of like a mid-tone. This one looks really pretty. Very different from anything else that I got too, but beautiful, beautiful shade. Look at that. And last I have a couple of greens, starting with this one right here. This is the shade Dazzle. Okay, so there's Dazzle. It looks like a very light, shimmery, kind of like a yellowy green. That's really pretty. I definitely don't own anything like that. Next, the shade Recruit. This one I'm really excited about. This is like a really pretty kind of mid-tone, shimmery, army green. Oh, yes. Look at that. It's like a bronzy green. That is beautiful. Actually, it's kind of duochromed. It's kind of like a brown, the green shift. And the last one is the shade Dive, which is kind of a duochrome blue, gold, silver. We'll see how this swatches. This one looks really pretty as well. Oh wow, there is a lot of blue in that. That is so pretty though. Ooh, how fun. Wow, that looks beautiful. Okay, so there are all the shimmers that I got. Here are all the mattes. I am so excited about these. It's gonna be a good eyeshadow day, I can feel it. So now to decide what I want to do today. This is gonna be tough. So I'm kind of thinking I wanna go with something very peach toned in the crease and probably use some of these shades in my outer corner. Maybe we'll do, let's see what I wanna do on my lid today. I kinda wanna try Greatest Gift on my lid today because it's such an interesting shade, and then maybe some of these on my inner corner. We're just gonna kind of wing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe these off because I do have black shorts on right now and I don't want this to go over my black shorts. Man, guys, these shadows stain, which I've always said is a good sign that they are going to last and hold up really well on the eyes. Let's jump into first the shade Peyton's Puppy, which was kind of the lightest transition shade, kind of the pinky peach transition shade. I have such a hard time saying that word. Make sure all those creases are gone. Yeah, I think we're good. So I'm just going to take that on my Rephr number 16 brush and pop that all through and above my crease. I'm gonna take a little bit just on the tip of that same brush, and I'm just gonna kind of run that just along this outer part of my lower lash line. So I'll link for you guys down below. If you're interested in Sydney Grace shadows, Sarah Hubler did a video basically right before the sale started. I meant to link her video in my community tab, but I never got around to doing it because we were just so busy. But if you are still interested in her shadows and wondering what shades to pick up, Sarah did a video on her individual shadows and swatches of them all. And also Mel Thompson has done a video of her individual shadows swatched, I think, as well. So I will try and link those down below for you guys so you can take a look at those if you need some help in deciding what shades to pick out, because man, that is a tough decision. I had initially planned to buy like $50 worth of individual shadows, only pick about 10, but I had a hard time even narrowing it down to 20. I think at one point I had 42 shadows in my cart. And I just was like, Mandy, you don't need 42 shadows, plus the 25, 30 that they're going to give you as well. That's just crazy. Now I'm going to go into the shade, let's take Peyton's Puppy, which is kind of the, no, not Peyton's Puppy. That's the one we just used, right? No, this one's just Puppy. This is just kind of the neutral light brown. I'm going to take that just on the tip of that same brush. I'm going to run that just through my actual socket. Oh guys, these shadows are so nice and easy to work with. I love them. I'm still afraid though that I'm not gonna get that part of my order. That's the whole reason I waited so long to order. I'm like kind of paranoid about it. I keep checking my email obsessively, just waiting for them to email me back and tell me, it's okay, we'll get them out to you, we will rectify this. And I'm pretty positive that they will. because it was on my packing slip, but there are worse things in the world, Mandy. You don't need really any eyeshadows ever again. I was just excited for the surprise, you know, to open them up and not know exactly what they were going to give me. Okay, pause. I forgot. I wanted to zoom you guys in just a little bit, so let's do that right now. There we go. All right, so now I think I want to add a little bit of depth to my outer corner even further. So let's take, let's see. I can't decide if I want to go with the kind of deep purple Admiral, if I want to stick with more of like the kind of cranberry toned color. This is the shade, I'm going to say Plume, because I don't know that Plummet doesn't sound right to me. Like Plummet sounds so violent and dangerous. Just doesn't sound like a shadow name to me. So I'm going to say Plume. Makes me feel fancier. So I'm going to take this one, Plume, on my Rephr number 14 brush, which is kind of a very, very long but very tiny blending brush. This is a great brush. Honestly, this duo right here, the number 16 and number 14, could do anything. Although, I don't know. This one too. And the number 1. Speaking of Rephr brushes, I did just get, oh, and I totally forgot to use them. I just got the rest of the Rephr brushes. They sent over to me, the ones that I was missing that were, I guess, out of stock when they sent me over their brushes. This is them right here. We've got kind of like a sculpting brush, a highlight brush, clumsy Mandy, a kind of, this looks like a flat top foundation brush, but it's smaller, which I think is kind of cool. I think it's meant to like build up coverage in areas that you need maybe an extra layer of foundation or concealer. So I'm excited to give them a try. Let me know if you guys would like me to do a kind of overview of the Rephr brushes, maybe even just like a brush video in general. Maybe like it's been a while since I've done a brush video. Maybe I could do like a starter kit of my favorite high-end and my favorite more affordable drugstore brushes. Let me know if that sounds like a video you guys would be interested in. So I'm just kind of like lightly circling this through this outer corner right here just to deepen things up. This is a beautiful, beautiful shade. And I'm kind of taking what's left and sort of dragging it just under this lower lash line, just on this very outermost corner right here, just to round out this shape and kind of tie it down to the bottom. This is so pretty. I love these kind of plummy purple shades. I think they're pretty. I think they would look pretty on anybody. Let's now put on this shade right here, the lid shade, which is the Greatest Gift. Again, this is that one that kind of is like a purpley blue with kind of like a golden shift. It's like a golden green shift. It's a really interesting color. When I look at it on my monitor, I see a little bit more pinky purple. When I look in my mirror, which is in front of me, I see a lot more green and kind of gold. And when I look at it on my finger, it looks kind of blue. So who knows what color this is. It's very, very interesting and multidimensional. Oh my gosh. So pretty. Again, I'm just using my finger for this. I do love the Sydney Grace shadows with a finger, but they're one of the few shimmers that seem to work really well even with a brush. And not all shimmers can be applied very easily with a brush, especially not a dry brush, but these actually do apply. I shouldn't say these ones I'm using today, but the ones, all the ones from her Enduring Love palette, I was really impressed with how well they applied with a brush. And the formula of these do feel like the ones in the Enduring Love palette. Okay, I'm just gonna take this small brush, there's nothing left on here, just with what's left on here, I should say, and kind of just blend out this edge. I am so in love with that color. It's so unique. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of, let's take a little bit of this one right here, which is the shade Bailey's Bliss. I want to pop a little bit of this on my inner corner. I'm just going to take this on my Rephr number 3 brush. Did I just say brush weird? I feel like that came out weird. And we're going to pop a little bit of this on this inner corner. This is the best inner corner brush, by the way. There's so many brushes that I go to apply a shade to my inner corner and I'm like, nothing happened. But this one, like, it's like using your finger, but it's much more tiny and precise, which is very important in applying an inner corner shade that's really, really bright and reflective, because if you overdo it, it looks a little crazy. I know there are some of you guys that are not really into highlighting your inner corner for that reason, because it can kind of get out of hand very quickly. Okay, so I think I want to use one more shade. I do want to go in with the darkest shade I got, which is the shade Officer, kind of that deep plum charcoal. And I want to just start to kind of smoke this along the lash line. I'm just going to take my Rephr number 2 brush, which is kind of a flat smudger brush, and I want to just kind of drag this right along this upper lash line, slightly pulling it up. And I'm going to kind of like smudge it down below as well, just to create a bit of a wing shape. I think I'm not going to do eyeliner today, actually. So let me know if any of you guys picked up anything from Sydney Grace during the sale. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they do one more sale maybe at the end of the year. I don't know for sure, but if you missed this one, I will try and keep you guys updated if I hear of another sale, which hopefully will be maybe in 6 more months, which I know sounds like a long time. Hopefully 6 months will give you time to save up your money if you're interested. All right, so I think that looks perfect for the eyes. I'm going to take my Thrive Cosmetics mascara, which is new to me. I do have some thoughts, very good thoughts on this coming in a future video, so keep an eye out for that. So I'll add a couple coats of this, I'll zoom you guys back out, and then we'll finish up with the rest of the face. Alright guys, so here are the finished eyes. I am in love with this eye look. I think it is so pretty. This lid shade is like so pretty. I'm so excited about it. But a couple of things I forgot. So in my enthusiasm to get to using these shadows, I forgot to put blush on. So we're going to add a little bit of blush. I'm going to take my Physicians Formula Dewy Blush Elixir. I have it in the shade Gorgeous Peach. And I'm going to take that on this stippling brush right here, which is from Luxie. This is their Duo Fiber Powder Brush. I'm going to kind of just stipple this on my cheeks. Man, this sun, again, today is giving me trouble. There we go. I wish this blush stayed in place a little bit better because I do love how it looks on the cheeks. It is so dewy and pretty looking. I'm just going to blend out this little edge right here. Alright, and I realized that I forgot to mention I did pick up one of their cream shadows. I got the shade Boardwalk, which is a very classic kind of shell pink color. They had a really beautiful kind of silvery taupe shade that one of you recommended that I kind of went back and forth between that one and this one. I ended up going with this one. Maybe my next order I'll pick that one out. Okay, so I want to swatch this for you guys. Again, this is the shade Boardwalk. Oh, that's so pretty. It's like the perfect peachy pink. I would say this is more peach than pink. It almost even has kind of like a bronzy hue to it. That is a beautiful, beautiful lid color. Very excited to try these. I've heard really good things about these. I don't reach for shadows like this very often, but if the formula sells me, hopefully I'll reach for it more than I do most of my individual cream or potted shadows. But it is very beautiful. I'm excited to give it a try. All right, let's finish off with the lips today. So I think I want to go with an old favorite from MAC that I have not used for a while. We're going to take the shade Blankety. We're going to start off with a little bit of lip liner. I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Lay Down the Mauves lip liner. This is a really good lip liner shade, and it's a good creamy formula. Whoa. What happened there? Should never talk when I line my lips. It's a good creamy formula that stays in place pretty well. It actually reminds me quite a bit of the Essence 8-Hour Waterproof formula, which I love, but I don't love their shade range. That's the tough thing, right? Is finding the perfect shade in the perfect formula. I feel like there's some lip liners that I pick for their shades and there's others that I pick for their formula, but it's hard to find like the perfect shade in the perfect formula. Am I wrong? That's not Charlotte Tilbury priced. I can't bring myself to spend $25 on a lip liner. I don't know why. I just can't do it. So I'm going to add a little bit more lip liner to the bottom because I know that the shade Blankety is a lighter nude, so I want to make sure it's not too light. So I'm going to kind of fill them in on the bottom. Alright, and there's the lipstick. This is a very light nude. It's almost a little bit too light for me, especially in the summertime, but if you have very fair skin, this would be a really good nude for you if you like a lighter nude. I do like it, but I feel like my tastes have shifted a little bit more to like the mid-tone range. It is pretty, especially with a good deep lip liner underneath, and of course we can always pop a little bit of gloss on top. Let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to take my Persona Pink gloss, just in the center. Ooh, that's perfect. Okay, now it looks perfect. And with that, I think that is everything, right? We've got blush on. I did my eyebrows, right? Sort of. That is everything. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Hopefully this was interesting or helpful for you guys. Hopefully if you've been on the hunt for Cindy Grace shadows, these swatches helped you guys up a little bit. I will, of course, keep you guys posted on the rest of my order from them, which will hopefully get here soon. I really hope that gets sorted out. But I'm very excited about the ones that I picked up. Let me know if there are any shades in here that you saw today that you particularly would like to see me use in an upcoming video. Let me know if you want to see me use the cream or liquid shadow from them as well. As for my announcement, I wanted to let you guys know that coming up during the month of August, I'm going to be doing another full month of nothing new. If you're new to my channel, I did this back in January. It was a big hit. You guys seem to love it. I really enjoyed doing it. Basically, the whole month we just focus on the stuff that I already have in my collection, enjoying what I have. I have some really fun videos planned. I have some collaborations planned that I'm super excited about. Lots of eyeshadow videos planned. I have some declutters planned. I have some ranking videos. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys will join me. Be sure to subscribe if you are not yet subscribed so you don't miss out. And with that, that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye. Kind of distracted by my earrings today. Every time I put these earrings in, part of me thinks these are so cute, and a part of me thinks these are so weird. So I can't decide if I think they're cute or if I think they're weird. Let's go with cute. My kids screaming upstairs. They're up doing their chores, and Charlie is in a mood today. Okay, my arms. I am just like dying over my terrible self-tanning job today. In my defense, this right here is not a self-tanning mark. This is an actual birthmark, but the rest of them are self-tanning. Gone awry. Wanna say hi to everybody?
Hi.
You got some bed hair going on, huh?
Yeah.
And some tears in your eyes. What are you so sad about? Your brother's making you sad again?
Yes.
Why they like to do that?
Those are all of colors.
There are a lot of colors. They're beautiful, huh?
Yeah, I love them.
I love them too.
They're circles.
They are circles. You are so smart.
They're like rainbows.
Like rainbows. Vote down below. Do you think of rainbows or horseshoes? I think of horseshoes personally, but
Yeah,
Charlie votes rainbows.
Those rainbows are too.
I love them.
You don't
Those
like?
rainbows are too high.
They're too high for
Yeah,
rainbows.
those are, except they also.
I love them. They're
They're little.
sparkly.